Hi, everyone. We're going to be starting Mentor Talk soon. Just stay tuned, and I'm going to be bringing on board one of my colleagues. If you have any questions for Anna, feel free to drop them in the chat. Hi, Maria.
Hi, how are you doing, Asha?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm happy to be here today. I think we're gonna have a fun
Yes, me
show.
too. I think we will. It's going to be
Yeah,
so cool. I've
yeah.
never interviewed a physicist before.
Well, yeah, there's definitely that. And also, I don't normally get to be on with you. I usually am on the background, so this is fun. This is a nice change.
Yes, it is a nice change. I like it. So, and then, yeah, so hello, everyone. We're going to be starting in a minute, but this is Mentor Talks. It's our show that we connect you with Exchange alumni leaders. So if you have a question for Dr. Anna Grassellino, feel free to share it in the chat or in the comments. We're going to be inviting her soon. So, well, I guess it is 8:30. So how about we get started?
Yeah, it's 8:30 Dhaka time, right? Because we're actually joining you from a couple
You're
of
right.
different locations today. It's 8:30. Yes, it is 8:30 somewhere, which is Dhaka.
Yeah.
So Asha is
Yep.
joining us from Bangladesh.
I am. Yes. And where are you? Where are you, Maria?
I am currently in Arlington, Virginia.
Yes. Where it is 10:30 a.m.
Where it
Correct?
is 10:30 a.m. and freezing. So if anyone else is in the DC area, then you understand that it's very, very cold right now, and we're dealing with a cold spell. But you know, hopefully we'll distract you for the cold for a half hour.
Yeah. And if you're in the warm or the hot humidity where I am, hopefully we can distract you from that. Um, all right. So hello everyone and welcome to Mentor Talks. My name is Asha Bay and I'm joined here by my colleague Maria Iliadis, and we're part of ECA's Office of Alumni Affairs at the U.S. Department of State. Our office opens the door to a global network of millions of exchange program alumni, grant opportunities, and professional development, which includes this show.
And on Mentor Talks, we connect you to Exchange alumni leaders like our guest today, Dr. Anna Grassellino, Senior Scientist and Director of Fermilab, America's Particle Physics and Accelerator Laboratory near Chicago, Illinois.
Yes. Along with her job at Fermilab, Anna is an adjunct professor at Northwestern University, and she's also a double exchange alumni of the BridgeUSA program.
What would you like to ask Anna? Post your questions in the comments and we'll get to them.
Thanks, Maria. And I've just invited Anna. And here she is. Hello, Anna.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for the invite.
You're welcome. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very exciting.
Okay. So, everyone, before we get to questions from you all, I'm going to ask Anna a couple of questions. The first is, how does your work in quantum information science touch our everyday lives?
Well, I guess we saw it yesterday that we had a big announcement of a Nobel Prize in Physics for quantum information science. The world more and more is recognizing how this exciting field and emerging technological field is really going to have a huge impact on our everyday lives, is really going to change. So how? Well, I would say the things that we do, developing quantum computers or quantum sensors, can have really profound impacts. First of all, from the fundamental understanding of the universe, the foundational laws of the, of quantum. So that is certainly something that touches us. A quantum computer is a computer that will not replace the computers that we have in our everyday lives. For doing simple things, but it is actually a potentially very powerful machine that can solve some very complex problems that today we cannot solve with classical machines. And so this can be, ranging from, again, fundamental physics to medicine, to chemistry, to biology, to traffic optimization problems. There is really a huge variety of complex calculations that are too demanding for classical standard computers, and the quantum computers can have a high impact on. And so I think today the quantum computers are not fully there yet. We are in the phase where we are developing the technologies and we are solving technological problems that at the moment make these computers a little bit too noisy. But I would say that 5-10 years from now, I expect these technologies to really impact our everyday lives.
Wow. Okay, cool. And so you come from a small town in Italy, right?
It's true. Yes, I come. It's not small, but yes, certainly not a large city. I come from Marsala. It's 100,000 approximately people. It's in southern Italy, where the sun always shines. And so certainly very different from where I am now, which is in Chicago. Very different weather, very different lifestyle, but nevertheless, I'm very, very happy of the journey that where my life has taken me. Many different places where I've been able to learn a lot from different people, different cultures, different backgrounds.
Yeah, oh, yes, exactly. Yeah, and you came to the U.S. on a BridgeUSA program, correct?
Correct. So I actually came with this program when I was, actually, I don't remember how old I was, but again, let's say in 2004, I was a summer intern exactly in the place where I currently am right now, which is Fermi National Laboratory in Chicago. So I came as an exchange student for a few months, and I really loved here. At that time, I was a master degree student at University of Pisa in Italy. And I was offered the opportunity to come back for doing a PhD in the United States. So I truly loved the fact that Fermilab is so international. It's one of the DOE national laboratories, one of the 17, and it's the one really dedicated on studying the fundamental laws of physics. And so at that time, the machine called the Tevatron was on, and it was really amazing to me how the entire world comes together to build these ginormous and complex accelerators to then study these tiny little particles in the world of particles. So I really love the international aspect. Everybody was welcome, right? And everybody was a key component, with our background, that our unique experience that we brought from our universities. And so I came back here for my PhD thesis. And so I did my PhD thesis again with your program at University of Pennsylvania, which was also incredible. So originally in Italy, I was an electronic engineer, but then came back to do a PhD in physics, which allowed me to, again, broaden my horizons. And so really, again, the international aspect was amazing. And then I ended up back at Fermilab here again later when they hired me when I finished my PhD.
Wow. That's great. So from intern to director. Now you're the director of the lab, right?
Not of Fermilab. I'm director of the SQMS Center, which is this national quantum center.
Yes.
That has these super ambitious goals so we are funded by the Department of Energy at $150 million to build a revolutionary quantum computer here at Fermilab. And we are a network now of 23 partner institutions. So we bring together academia, national labs, and industry in a multidisciplinary collaboration. Now, it's called National Quantum Initiative, but it actually, of course, given my background, coming from the experience of your program, I didn't want to give up the international component. And so we also have Italy and other international partners that participate, really in the spirit of bringing the world together to advance science and technology.
Wow. Wow. And that international component, I believe you said that it helps make a better atmosphere at the lab. Is that
absolutely? I strongly believe in it. I think Fermilab has always been a unique place because of that. Because science, progress in science has to build upon diversity, and diversity including diversity of backgrounds, and I think how inclusive this environment has been here is really a big plus. We have really people from all over the world that come here, just in the name of, understanding how the microscopic world works at its most fundamental level.
Exciting. So we don't have a lot of time, so we want to get to some questions from our audience. And I know we have a BridgeUSA alumna with us. So let me just find her, and we will invite her on the show to ask you a question.
Thank you.
And her name is Sohaila DK Mosoon. She's from Toronto.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for having me on. Hi, Anna.
Hi.
So as a BridgeUSA alum, I just completed my internship like literally a month ago. I was working at a winery in upstate New York in the Finger Lakes region, which was incredible. Something I was really surprised to learn is that in 2020 alone, or 2021 alone, Canada, which is my home country, had over 2,000 participants in the BridgeUSA program. So my question to you is, how did you first learn about the program while you were living in Italy?
Yeah, I learned actually from some of our professors and colleagues at the university, and advertising that there were these internship opportunities in the United States. And for me, it was a moment where I wanted to understand better what I wanted to do after graduation. And so it was, it was just perfect timing. And it really provided me an opportunity to see outside of Italy and how other countries were doing research. And that was really important for me because it really inspired me to come back actually for my PhD later on.
Very cool. And then I have one more question. What was like the most memorable or like interesting part of your internship that like stands out to you still to this day?
Well, I think definitely, as I was mentioning earlier, working in this, it was the first time, when you're a student, you're like working more like individually. And then you come to such an enormous laboratory that brings together thousands of researchers from around the world. And so I think for me, that was the most exciting and impressive part that, from day one, I was part of a team, even though I had just come here and nobody knew me. I was part of a team and, we had meetings with like dozens of scientists and engineers. And so that was really, as I was mentioning earlier, made me feel like it was a very inclusive environment where I was going to make an impact.
Very cool. Thank you so much for answering my questions. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for your questions.
Thanks for joining us, Sohaila.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So, and thank you, Anna, for answering the question. I think we may have some other questions. What do you think, Maria?
Yeah, I think so. So our colleagues had a few questions for you. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat and we will ask Anna. So we'll start with, well, how did you know, Anna, that you wanted to become a physicist?
I didn't.
Okay.
So I studied electronic engineering, but I would say I didn't even know that I wanted to be an electronic engineer. So it's always been sort of an evolution, I would say, with my life and my interests. I like being an electronic engineer. I specialize in microelectronics, but I felt I wanted to do a little more, rather than, being tasked with something and then just designing it and delivering it. I wanted to have the opportunity to express a little more my creativity. And so I felt like physics was a field that would allow that. So I wanted to move a little more where I could design my own experiments and, try to prove or disprove an hypothesis. And so that's how I decided to kind of broaden a little bit my horizons. So I think the opportunity really that was offered to me to come with this program and do a PhD in physics allowed me to do that. So on top of the electronic engineering expertise, then I broadened my horizons to physics. And I think that was the right choice. I do very much enjoy what I do every day now, in terms of, being able to really study the most fundamental laws of nature.
That seems kind of interesting in thinking about computers, right? How do computers relate to the fundamental laws of nature?
Well, in particular, for example, the quantum computer, very much so, because while a classical computer simply works with the, as we all know, bits 0 and 1. And that's again, it's based on fundamental laws of physics, right? But it's classical laws of physics. A quantum computer instead uses the laws of physics that are called, that they are quantum mechanics laws. So in a simple way, so rather than having a bit that is 0, 1, which so you can imagine, let's say, as a coin that has head and tail, the qubit, so that the building block of a quantum computer is actually can simultaneously be 0 and 1. So it's like if you toss the coin up in the air and it simultaneously rotates and is 0 and 1. So this is a very powerful property of fundamental laws of quantum mechanics. And so it's a counterintuitive law. So we tend to think that things are in a determined state. They're either 0 or 1. They're either white or black. The book is either on the table or is off the table. But the truth is that at the microscopic level, the world works really like that, in a probabilistic way. So now the exciting part about the computer is that we take these almost counterintuitive laws and we use them at our advantage to build a machine that is more powerful. So absolutely anything, our phones, right, all the technology that surrounds us is based on laws of physics, right, electromagnetism. So, so now we are taking it to a next step, where we use physics laws that are not, as I said, classical, but they're quantum mechanical.
I think I understand a fraction of that. I'm like, I think I would need a whole class to maybe understand the whole thing, but I'm fascinated at the same time. And that's always a good place to start, right? Out of that curiosity of like, I want to know more, but I also don't want to drag us into a bigger discussion. And I see we have a question from the audience. Yeah. Where, would you like to take it, Asha?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So she's asking, can you tell us about some of the cultural experiences you've had in the U.S. on your BridgeUSA exchange?
Oh, cultural, yes. Well, I guess the first and always shocking is the language. Coming from Italy, I was actually pretty good student in English, like grammar-wise, but like the first shock is always understanding the pronunciation. But it's super important, right? You have to learn. And so I think that was one of the most important things of the experience abroad, that, you know, after 3 months, I could communicate well with others and understand. And I mean, again, so we were able to be with the students, with researchers from all different countries. And so really that is a very enriching experience, to share the stories, different way of lives, how different people got here, why they're here, you know, and what's in their background. So I would say those, I was I think it was very beautiful that I was with a class of students. So we were 10 that lived together and shared everything, essentially, shared the house, shared the car. And so we sort of like lived this nice experience together.
That's nice.
That helps when you get to a foreign country where you know very little, right, to be able to rely on others.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that brings us to one of our questions here is, what advice do you have for someone who's coming to the U.S. to study?
What advice? Well, first of all, I would say do it. Going back, I would do it a million times. I love this country. I'm American today. So I came as Italian and I became a citizen many years later. But I think it's is a country which is very, as we discussed earlier, is very inclusive. It gives opportunities. I came as a student, and a few years later, I'm director of a major national center on the most advanced technologies that we are developing on Earth. This would not be possible if this wasn't a country that really bets on talent and gives the opportunities even to young people and to women to advance in their career. So I would suggest to do it and believe in yourself and chase your dreams.
Yeah, I like that advice.
Me too.
Maria, are there any other questions?
Yeah, I wanted to get back actually to talk about computers again. So what do you think is the future of computing? Where are we going with it next? What are the possibilities?
Well, I think that there is a lot of possibilities. As I mentioned earlier, one of the things that we always say is the quantum computer should not be imagined as some new car that will replace the old car. I think our classical computers that we have on our desk will sit around for a very long time and will continue to serve the purpose. The quantum computer is really like an airplane compared to a car. It will allow us to go to places where the car cannot go. So it's just a jump in computational power for certain fields. And so I think the future of computing will open possibilities in medicine, in physics, as I said, in optimization problems that today really are not on the horizon. They're just not possible. Classical computer will be a million years to solve problems like this. And so it's really that exponential speed up for certain applications that will give us a lot more. There is also high performance computing, of course. So there are supercomputers that are more like classical computers, but just very big, many of them. And those, I think, are also very important. So all these different avenues need to continue to be pushed and explored and serve our everyday lives.
And I kind of have like a silly question. Do you ever, so, you know, are you familiar with the Terminator movies?
A little bit.
A little. So is there ever a scenario where the computers would take over?
Hopefully not. I guess that's really important. You know, as we advance technologies which are very complex and artificial intelligence and so on, it is very important to think ahead from the ethics perspective of what can unforeseen or unwanted consequences be of the technological developments that we push. So I would say it's still many years ahead if it will ever happen and if it will be possible, but it is important to think about this. And I think it is important to develop this type of technologies in a scientific lab for science purposes, also because of that. We want whatever we develop, we want to put it at the service of the good for society.
Okay. So thank you, Anna. It looks like we're just about out of time. So I have one more question for you, and it's related to STEM. What would be your number one tip for making it as a woman in STEM?
I would say that the science and technology fields are really progress based on creativity, on teamwork. There is a lot of aspects that we as women bring really as unique and strong features of who we are. And so I think that's very important. It's very important that we have more women, that we are more diverse field to really ensure that science and technology progresses as fast as possible. I think that, of course, things are changing, things are improving, but don't get discouraged if you see a field that is interesting, but you see that you would be a minority. It's been my experience. I mean, when I was in electronic engineering, we were like 10 women out of 180 class. And it can be discouraging. But I guess the best advice I can give is don't be. There are many examples like me of women that have made it, and we have made it to the top. And I think it's really important that you believe in yourself and that you don't let anybody tell you that you cannot do it.
That's great advice. And we did get one more question. Do you have time?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how, as a woman who has made it in the field, how do you mentor other women in STEM?
Yeah. Well, I try by example, right? And one of the things we're doing with this new center that we have is we try to start, building the pipeline. So we go to, high schools and we bring a lot of diverse students in already at very early age to make them see and feel that they can be part of this and they can have an impact. So we are trying in many ways. We have fellowships, we have internships, we have summer schools. We do a lot of outreach, even with kids in elementary school. So introducing the topic, and I try to go in person as much as possible. We have hired a lot of new people here with this new initiative, and we've done okay. I mean, we did well, 30% were women and underrepresented minorities. And now they serve together with me as the ambassadors to try to really change the perception.
Wow, that's great. Thank you, Anna. And thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
And
Your program has given me. And yeah, I hope we'll be in touch again in the future.
yes, I hope so too.
Us too.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
And I just also want to thank our audience for tuning in and asking questions and sending us all those hearts. Thank you, everyone.
That was cute. That was encouraging.
Exactly. We know you're out there and watching.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
And thank you to my colleague Maria for joining me. I was a little bit worried about losing power over here since I am in a different country, but everything has come through. So, okay.
Exactly.
But anyway, I also want to add that if you are looking for more career tips from Exchange Alumni, you can visit our website, alumni.state.gov. You can also go to our Facebook page at International Exchange Alumni and check out the videos of past mentor talks. And if you're looking for job leads, we have some on our LinkedIn page on hashtag Exchange Alumni. And we also post about those job leads on Twitter as well. So you can get the latest updates on Exchange Alumni like Anna on Twitter at Exchange Alumni. And that's it for our show. Thanks for watching, everyone. And we'll see you soon for our next Mentor Talks.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.